Rub it in, rub it in.
Damn, man, you got corn in my teeth.
Hey, evening, everybody. Glad to be here. Great to be a part of this illustrious panel. Man, what have I got going on? Oh, I got a shoot tomorrow. All classifier match, so I get to see Mr. Danielson tomorrow. And I've been working on my Rock Island 10 millimeter. So I'll be doing a video on the first upgrades and improvements I've done to that here shortly. Other than that, let's go north. Mr. CW.
Be frozen.
Hello.
It's too hot everywhere to be frozen.
Looks like he's got a stuck internet.
Yeah, he'll catch up here in a minute.
Yeah.
Uh,
I got lots of stuff.
y'all
I
talk,
got something for you, hillbilly.
Ah, man. You're making my stomach
Man, you
turn right now.
You better next day air that stuff to him, man. He needs that now. He's got to cool down. Ozarkian cool down. White Claw.
I think Scotsman's going to need that.
Yeah.
okay, Brian, are you where you can talk now?
I hope
I saw
so.
him
It's
moving.
all determined on the internet. Yeah, it's been tough. We got lots of 105 heat index here and lots of stuff going on. So it's been bouncing in and out all afternoon. So I was not anticipating a clean delivery tonight. But anyway, thanks for everybody being here. Sorry I'm a little late. Been a tough week. I'm just gonna relax and enjoy the show.
Glad you're here, brother. Glad you're here.
Thanks, man.
I hate to think about doing this without you guys nowadays. Um, to talk about the heat just for a minute, and then we'll move on to some of our topics. Um, it's 9 minutes after 8 o'clock here. The sun is starting to go down, and I'm in northwest Georgia. It's 89 degrees with 64% humidity and a heat index of 101. So,
Wow, man, you are burning up over there. We're at 86 with a heat index of 94 and an OH10. I'm glad I live up here, man.
yeah, so much difference. So
I'm north of Eugene and it's hotter here. It's still 89 here.
I think
Well,
I think
what
he's
Jamie's
kind of
not telling you is it was 97 today with a heat index of almost 110.
well, that
It's
was
cooled off a lot.
1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon. And what kills me is, and I don't want to get political. I don't. We don't do that here. But I had the audacity to watch the NBC Evening News while I was eating my Bojangles tonight for supper. Let me tell you something. Everything, look, it ain't about climate change. Maybe the weather's getting hotter. I don't know. It's always been this way here. I was born and raised here. It always gets to 105 and 110 heat indexes since 1962. I remember every one of them summers being miserable.
But if we pay more taxes, nothing will change. So there you go.
Yeah, I watched a piece on the news. I ventured into it this morning while I was having my coffee, and there was that illustrious fumbled old man. The heat rising is because of climate change. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's dude, it's summertime.
I'm about to say I thought it was called summertime.
Yeah, it's hot everywhere because it's summer.
It's
It's
both
not about
seasons.
right.
Now,
It's
now
not.
you can go to Australia and it's probably snowing.
That's because it's winter there.
See, climate change. It's weird.
The climate's changed all through the year, all around the world. Isn't it amazing?
That's right,
Yeah.
Tim S.
All right. Anyway,
Right. So first thing we need to talk about tonight is
Timmy,
go ahead. Did Andy get back? Yeah, there's Andy's
Yeah,
back.
Andy's here.
I want him to be around when we talk about this. What at the end of the show last week, we one of our faithful viewers, Michael Dunn, he just popped in there, uh, posed us with the dilemma that he is full length sizing his brass, and after he does so, the brass is not fitting on the pallets of his trimming machine.
Is he holding his mouth right? That's what my dad always told me. You ain't holding your mouth right.
it happens.
All right, tell us, Michael. He said he figured it out. That was our topic. Come on, Michael. Dang, dude. Now we got nothing to talk about all night.
Well, hold on, Jamie. No, we do. We have a hillbilly who just admitted that, that's the thing that he seems to like, that he's good at.
Oh, oh,
Well, I'll tell you one issue that I had with that very same thing with pistol brass, specifically with 45 ACP, using a Hornady, lathe style trimmer. And some brass the pilot would fit, other brass the pilot wouldn't fit. I called up Hornady and asked them, I said, "Do you guys make, in any different sizes, like for, a fatter 44 or a skinnier 45 that will fit in all of this brass?" Because some of that brass is thicker than others, and when you size it, if you size brass, it's got a thicker case wall that makes the interior diameter smaller, and it won't fit over the pilot. And Hornady told me, "We'll trim it before you size it, and then size it." And I said, "No, I'm not going to. You do that, and you're going to run it through your sizers, it's going to stretch the brass out again." So I ended up milling the pilot down a little bit so that it would fit in all of that brass. But it struck me, and not knowing what kind of brass, Michael, that you were using, that possibly that could have been an issue. I don't know whether that was happening with you with all of the brass or with some of it or what.
I think
That was going to be my answer. What's a brass? Is it reformed from something else? And does he know the neck thickness? Because that's
provided the resizing stem, the expander ball is correct size, because that's the last thing that makes contact with the neck, is it expands it to whatever size that ball is. So I was going to say, as long as we got that dimension correct, it should fit the trimmer, whatever. I mean, that's just kind of another path to look at. But
Yeah, you would think so. Huh?
we were
Right,
all
you would think
dialed
so.
in to jump in with both feet on this issue, and then he comes up with, "I fixed it."
yeah, well, we're
Well-
going to talk about it anyway.
send him a link. He can come on and talk about it.
Yeah, we're glad you got it figured out, man.
well, there's something to it. If anybody has any Forester dies have a threaded expander ball that you can move. You can adjust the position of your expander ball.
Well, he sounded like he just didn't have the hey Dwayne 7834. I think he had that the part, the expander ball, you know, and it's got the
Decapping pin.
decapping pin on the end of it. I think that just wasn't. I take that stuff out of my sizing dies, and I probably shouldn't, but I do anyway. I do more steps, but
Well, you can get a lot better accuracy with a mandrel than you can expander ball. So there's a lot of people who do exactly that, Jamie. They use a universal decapping die, and then they take that that center pin right out of the sizing die, and they mandrel size their necks, and it's a lot more accurate, a lot more consistent.
And I'm sure that most of the people on this panel can agree that sometimes the doodad doesn't jive with the hoozy, and that's what's wrong.
Yeah,
So
that'll do it every time.
so I had it posted up there earlier. The whatchamacallit flew off the whiz bang. Who had that up there? Tim S, I think. Yeah, Tim S. The whatchamacallit is not aligned with the whiz bang. My granddaddy used to say the fluted shaft flew off the wobbling wheel. And then
Since we're all making these weird comments, I want everybody on the panel and in the side chat, here's your punishment. You have to go to YouTube and search Turbo Encabulator.
no, we don't, because we don't want our viewers to tune us off.
Well, no, I don't mean now. I mean when it's over. This is actually
Wow.
People, this is a family-friendly show. Now Vanessa's in on it.
This is actually the two people that made all the training videos for Chrysler when I first started back in like 95. And they made this skit as just a joke, and it is totally hysterical, and they managed to keep a straight face through the whole thing.
That's a good one, Tim S. Feel free. So Daniel said last time he was down here that Kyle was calibrating his flux capacitor. All right, this is what I do, the way I do it, and we'll go through the, if y'all want. I deprime with the Lee Universal Decapper, and then I clean it. And then I take and I'll show this on the 308 series. I take the expander ball and with the depriming pin out of the sizing die, and lube up my cases, and then I'll full length size them just to bump that shoulder back 2 to 3 thousandths, and then they go in the dry tumbler in the media to clean the lube off the cases. And then the reason I like to do it that way, I like to wet tumble them first to get it as clean as I possibly can, get those primer pockets clean. But when I put it back in there, all I'm wanting to do is get the lube off the cases. So I use the dry tumbler for that, because the lube kind of keeps the dust down out of that. And, you know, that's one of the things we went to the wet tumbler for, was to get rid of that dust coming up in your face when you're separating your brass from the media. But I don't have to wait on them to dry again. If I wet tumbled them again, I get this film I get that lube film inside my containers of my wet tumbler, and plus I have to sit and wait I'm stuck until the brass dries at that point. Then I'll run them through. I'll use the Lee Universal neck expanding die, but I take those things out and I put those NOE mandrels, expanding mandrels in there, and I'll use that to set my neck tension. And you can buy them at just about any conceivable size, or you can call them and order them, and they'll send them to you. And then it's just go from there. Pretty much prime, charge, seat. So there's that. Anybody else? Scotsman? No. Mock. Mock froze up too. There you go.
I'm pretty much in tune with you, Jamie, as far as steps. I just know I ran into that issue with one of my trimmers, the Lee trimmer, for example, and it ended up being my expander ball. So I kind of went, straight to that solution. But there's several, reasons it could have done what it did to him. So, but I did have to work on my expander ball a little bit to get it, custom fit like we do with a lot of Lee products.
Well, see, I'm glad you said that, like, the way you did. When you take the capping pin out of that expander ball and screw it back on there, and then you don't know where that's setting inside that die. You just about have to look up in there, and you got to make sure you got that ball to where it goes all the way through the neck and it comes all the way back out. It ain't a matter of just throwing that sucker back in there and going.
Right. And it's usually the last thing to touch your case is the neck expander. And I knock off all the pins on the Lee decappers. I grind them off flat so I can decap with a universal decapper, and I can resize prime brass, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Because I used to buy a lot of prime brass pull down, so you're not really straining the brass anymore. You're just sizing the neck a little bit because it did have a bullet seated in it. So I'll take one shot, I'll use one shot, resize the prime brass, and then dry tumble it to knock off the one shot. Even though one shot won't contaminate your powders, I still like clean, dry brass. Or, because it gets on your fingers and that dry graphite spray gets, or whatever one shot is. So. But I'm on the same page as you, Jamie, pretty much on my methods.
I'm like Tommy Boy. I really like those Lee trimmers, except for loading each piece of brass in that little lock stud thing they got.
Yeah.
Michael Dunn's agreeing with me. Walk says he don't use Lee dies except for their decapping die, and that neck expander die is good too if you've got these NOE things to put in it. And they're very much like the Lyman M dies. And Papa's Place. The lube is sticking to the inside of your wet tumbler. You aren't using enough soap. Using hot water also helps some. Yeah, that could be it. But it makes a film inside there that I don't like.
Jump off to a Costco or Sam's Club and buy the industrial strength Dawn dish detergent. It's not what you buy at Wally World or any place else out there. It's industrial commercial strength. And run some of that through with some hot water, and you'll rid yourself of all that.
Right.
Or what's
also good is car wash.
One
Car wash
tablespoon
soap
of the industrial purple simple green concentrate that you can pick up from either Home Depot or Lowe's or anything like that. 1 tablespoon is all you need, and you will not have any film whatsoever, and that brass will be just amazing.
In other words, Jamie, use a cup. That purple simple green, that's some good stuff, man.
Yeah, if you get your water hot enough and you put some Dawn and just a touch of Lemon Shine in there, you can live without the stainless steel pins, really.
That's all I use.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Hot
Yep.
water, hottest I can
Stand
get
by
it.
that 100%.
And let me shine, not too much. And I've used all different kinds of um, soap. I usually use Dawn, or I use the Frankfurt Arsenal stuff if I've got some left. And they all seem to work pretty good. It's all about the same. But I think the Let Me Shine makes the biggest difference for me, and the hot water.
Yeah.
Now, do you find it? Do you find if you're cleaning a batch of nickel, do you still use a citric acid Let Me Shine substance?
Yeah,
in
because
there
I'm not
with
using
it?
that much. If your brass is starting to change colors, get that greenish tint, you got too much Let Me Shine in there.
No,
Yeah.
I'm talking nickel.
Yeah, with nickel brass, but you just see it more on the brass.
Yeah, I
You
use
don't-
it, but my tap water here is we have got really hard water, and so I got to rinse my brass after it comes out of the media separator and stuff. I got to rinse it with a little bit of distilled water anyway, and I do that right away, right out of the tumbler, whether it's nickel plated or standard brass, and that seems to mitigate any further action on the part of the Let Me Shine. But if I don't do that, it comes out with calcium spots all over it. And of course, you guys already know if you leave your stuff sitting in that wet tumbler for 2 or 3 hours before after the cycle is done and you had Let Me Shine in there, even, just a little bit too much, you're going to start dissolving the zinc out of your brass and you're going to end up with pink brass.
Yep. Turns
you
pink.
can tell it changes color. Yeah.
Even if you don't, if you let it sit in there overnight without dumping it and sorting it out, it'll kind of get it starts sliming up.
Yeah.
All you really got to do is turn it back on for another 30, 45 minutes.
Speaking from experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm bad about letting it sit.
Well, I'm bad about leaving tumblers running, dry tumblers, and destroying them. So, hey,
I have forgotten my wet tumbler because it's down in the basement and I can't hear it upstairs. So I'll start one up, come upstairs, watch a movie, do whatever, go to bed. Wake up the next morning, go out the back door, and there's the basement right there, and it's like, oh, shit. I'm gonna be late for work now.
So
yeah.
It's clean though.
Bama Dad had a good comment back a little ways ago, and he said he every once in a while you need to just have a cleaning run for your wet tumbler and your stainless steel pins. That's a good idea.
He had another comment before, Jamie, talking about what is our favorite trimmer.
Yeah, I put it up there, and I never got to answer it.
I'll try with my camera off, see if it helps my stutter.
I've got I'm just getting to where I'm using the Ellie Wilson trimmer, and I liking it so far.
It's a good one. It's a
And
good one.
I've got that Hornady cam lock that I don't much care for, but only because of the rubber washers inside. That if you press on it too hard, you change the adjustment, and I don't like that. But I think my favorite trimming, if I had to pick my favorite trimmer, I would have to say using those Lee case length gauges and the lock stud and the shell holder attached to my Lyman Prep Station Express, I think would be my favorite thing to do it. Yeah, you still got to put the brass in the lock stud and tighten it up, but you just run it down on that rod and it cuts it.
Now here's one of my
I love
favorite
them.
trimmers. This is a Phillips. What's that? Norelco Phillips. It comes with multiple heads to put onto it for different lengths.
Bad.
It has
Bad.
a very nice on and off switch right here, and it is
You're bad.
rechargeable.
Mute
saying.
him.
It's my favorite trimmer.
Mute him.
Oh Lord, that was funny.
Hold on. Hey,
I
Jamie.
started out using
Jamie, do you
the
trim?
Lyman, the hand turn, and then you could get the adapter to put
What's
your
this-
drill on
what's this
there.
trim thing?
Well, Jamie's favorite trimmer is the girl down at the barbershop.
I like Stacy. She's been cutting my hair for 25 years.
I remember.
But yeah, I remember the Lyman, the orange one. The hand crank. The mandrels were nice. I mean, they fit everything, and they would trim it to length, and it was easy to adjust. And then I started using, like Jamie said, the Lee, just the little stubs that would shoot up out of your case prep center, and they work fine for anything that I need to do.
Hello, Mark.
Hello.
I didn't know you was back there, man. I'm sorry.
No
Hey,
problem.
buddy.
Hey, I ended up a little late with dinner. Turns out it's hard to grill burgers and dogs when it's storming on charcoal.
Yeah, that's kind of tough.
Yeah. You'll
You
have
would've
that.
thought that.
Big
got it done,
umbrella.
though.
Not that.
That's
Okay.
like that's like someone saying trim this. Yeah. Like, no.
All right, guys. I'm temporarily signing off.
Before you go, tell us what your favorite trimmer is.
I use the Lee handheld for now. Load it up in a drill and thin gloves, but it helps breaking them loose and loading them up. So that's my favorite trimmer. It works fine for me.
Good deal, man.
I'll tell you what, those
Yeah.
yellow coated gloves from Harbor Freight, I buy those. You can get 3 of those for like a few bucks. 3 pairs of them, and they last a long time, and they've got great grip for doing trimming.
Yeah.
They're some of the best ones I've found.
We'll see, Mike.
Be careful out there,
All
Mark.
right. Well,
Bye,
Right,
bro.
catch
careful,
up
man.
with
Drive
you.
careful.
Nah.
Bye.
And
I got
real quick, I'm just going to say my favorite trimmer is the Norelco.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but
Coming from the guys without beards,
yeah.
I got a little one here.
that's chicken
Oh.
scruff.
I don't like it long, man. I've had it long. I don't like it
Dude,
long.
that's bum fluff on your face.
That's a good method right there, Duffer.
Easier to clean off.
I took Gene for a Manscaped guy, though, didn't y'all?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But I want to share some with y'all I found at the shop. If you have not seen these yet, these are 308 plastic case cartridge cases. They're plastic. 308 Winchester right there. And the base is steel. They got caught in our magnet, and I happened to catch them, and I got a few of these. Has anybody else out there seen these plastic case 308s?
I've not seen them. I've heard about them. I've seen pictures of them. What
Are
about
they
those?
reloadable?
I probably wouldn't. If you did, maybe, man, start with the as small of a charge as you can get just to push that bullet out the barrel to try it out.
I mean,
But,
it seems like a recipe for disaster that you're going to put too small of a charge in there to get the bullet out of the bore.
Yeah, there's that too. But isn't everything a chance? You gotta take a chance.
Well, I still want to be able to get the piece of plastic out of the breech, you know. Good Lord. You'll end up like
Your pocket knife.
Gaming and Scotsman on my back porch trying to get a slug out.
I got 4 of them, and there's more in the barrel I can get.
I don't know that I would want any of those. Thank you.
Well, I grabbed them just to show. Just the weird things I see at work.
Put
You
them
know,
in put them in acrylic and make blocks out of them.
Yeah, see the bullet in them and make a keychain or something out of them. Glue the bullet in.
Yeah.
Knock the primer out, knock the dent out of the primer, clean the primer back out, put the primer back in so it looks like it's a loaded round, but there's nothing in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then see the bullet, glue it in, and you'd have a neat looking something.
Keychain or necklace, dingleberry, or whatever you call it. I don't know, but yeah, that would be cool, Gene. That would be cool.
I might dig more of them out and play with them. I got some crafts downstairs I've been playing with by doing the bullets in acrylic and some shredded cases I found.
I've had a lot of people compliment me on my keychain that you gave me.
Look at this shredded case. That is just Mangleville.
It happens, man.
It does. And then we got this one here.
Do you want me to mail you my wall of shame?
No, this is just stuff that comes out of the machine from other people's shame. I get to see everybody's rain shame, man. Let me tell you what.
That's crazy. The guys are talking about Guns and Water said he was going to buy a box for his collection. Reloader 762 says $70 for a box of 20 rounds.
I have not seen them in the gun stores, in any of the ammo supply places. I look at factory ammo. I don't buy much of it, but I do look at it just to see what's out there. And I have not seen any of those on any shelf.
I've never even heard.
Yeah, I've seen the ads. I can't think of the company's name. I've seen the ad slicks for them. I just can't place it in my head, the name.
It's got a TV on the bottom of it. It just says TV 308 Winchester.
Michael Dunn said True Velocity.
True Velocity?
Yeah, something like that sounds about right. Just Google plastic case ammo.
Polymer case 308 Winchester 168 grain with Nosler custom competition bullet.
I got something else I can think that stands for, but I'm not going to say it on here.
All right, guys, we got a serious question. We ain't heard much from Scotsman tonight, so he's on the floor first. Bullets, brand of bullets, Berger, Sierra, or Hornady?
As far as buying bullets, most of what I have is Hornady bullets, man. And mainly because the one rifle I started with when I first started building was a 6.5, and Scott helped me out, got me some of the Hornady bullets. I've shot nothing but the Hornady through it up until recently. Then we did some S&Bs, but Hornady's pretty much the one that I've had as far as factory bullets.
Andy says Dr. Zink bullets are the best. So Andy, earlier you said that you don't like the Lee trimmers, but they leave them too short. How are you going about? What do you use to trim? Okay, CW.
Yes, sir.
Sierra, Berger, or Hornady?
Spear. It depends on the use. If out of those ones, I kind of lean towards the common use. Hornady's always been good with their interlocks for a hunting bullet. I really like the Spears for a hunting bullet. That's my go-to hunting bullet. Sierras have always been a little better quality in my mind, a little better bullet for accuracy. I like the Noslers as well as a premium bullet. But out of those named, I'd say the Berger would probably be the top bullet for consistency and potential for accuracy. But I haven't used a lot of the newest fangled Hornady bullets, Sierra bullets, the tipped ones, and the ELD and ELDX, and I haven't used any of those to really compare them. But I have used Bergers.
Kyle, you have an opinion on this?
I do, but I can't type because it's dark. I was trying. I like the Sierra tip Match Kings for target rounds. I used to use the Hornady 208 grainers for my 308, but they quit making those. You can't get the same ones anymore. I was fortunate enough to have bought enough that I had a lot left over, but I like the Sierra tip Match Kings for target rounds, but I don't have a problem with Hornady for hunting. I don't have a single problem with it.
Yeah, Hornady makes some pretty good hunting bullets.
I've got some Bergers. I hadn't taken any game with them, but and some Barnes, which I don't even know if they still make bullets, but they were devastating bullets. I'll just say that. Quarter-inch armor plate at 300 yards went right through it. I was like, whoa. I'm going to set these aside for a later day. But yeah, if as far as store-bought bullets go, Sierra or Hornady, it's 50-50 toss-up.
I like the Sierra Pro Hunters for hunting. I like the Hornadies as well. The interlocks or the SSTs are fine hunting bullets. Never tried any Sierra Match Kings, but most of your F class guys use those Bergers for F class shooting. Gene, you got a dog in this fight?
Well, like everybody else, I cast most of it, but if I'm buying stuff for my AR or my 223s, I like Sierras. Use a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and Sierras seem to be the most accurate out of my rifle. And I like Sierra too for the 223 because they offer so many different weights. You know, you can play with your load data and the weights and work up your accuracy with those. Other than that, I bought some Hornady XTPs for some self-defense rounds. A little bit of an assortment. I've got some Nosler for 308 or 30 caliber. I got some Nosler down there. I got some Sierra down there. I got some Hornady down there. I got some pulled bullets. I don't have a clue what they are, but they're 208 grains, so they shoot pretty well. That's all the dog got me, man. Bark.
So Ron Wayne likes the Sierra Match Kings in his 30-06. We lost Scotsman, we lost Mock. So there's that. Mark Thomas, you got an opinion on this?
Not so much an opinion, but the only thing I've really dealt with has been Hornady bullets. I haven't done anything with any others. And they've been working good so far.
Hornady's hard to beat for the money.
Did everybody answer the trimmer? I know I didn't.
No, we didn't get that far.
We had squirrel moment and went right to something else.
Right. That's the way I am. I can't. I can't
Squirrel,
go.
squirrel.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we're not all formal. Let's let Viejo talk about rifle bullets, and then we'll get on to trimmers.
Me talk about rifle anything? Are you kidding me? They ain't picked up a rifle. I don't know how long other than my lever guns, and I shoot all cast bullets through those. So if I buy store bought bullets for the handguns, they're usually Hornady XTPs. If I buy plated bullets, they're extremes. And I got a bunch of them. I mean, I don't shoot just cast bullets out of my stuff, but mostly the best bullets I can get my hands on are the ones I make myself. So
You know that's why, because you dig it, you shoot in the same berm that you dig in. So all you do is you never have to buy lead. It's a one-time investment for you because you just go scrap out what you shot.
That's it. You ought to see all of the powder-coated bullets I bring home.
Yours.
Yeah.
You know what? I was actually at work today sorting brass, and I was thinking about that with how you get lead, because we get it in like 35-gallon drums.
Right.
Comes in, and I can go over and dip and dap in it whenever I want. So I have to go to the range and do all that. But I was thinking about you going, man, Walter, all he does is shoot it into one bay and then go clean that bay out. He never has to buy it.
When I go pick up range brass, I take three buckets, and I'll put about 30 pounds of range scrap in each one. It takes me less than 10 minutes to fill all three of those buckets with 30 pounds each. I take more than that, but I can't carry any more than that.
You are gangster.
I know.
Man, I'm telling you. You got it going on, man. You got it figured out.
Yeah, but it took me 60 years to get here.
Hey, but you're there.
Respond to Tommy Boy's statement.
Wait,
Yeah, man.
Go back.
The 208 grain ELD, which is extra low drag, you say it's the same as the AMAX, but it's not. The ballistic coefficient is totally different, and all the data that I spent 3 years building to make it where I could pull my gun right out of the case and shoot 1,000 yards on a cold bore no longer applies. The ballistic coefficient of the AMAX was 644, and I think the BC of the ELD is like 585. You can fact check me on that part, but I know the AMAX is 644. But everybody says they're the same. They're not.
Maybe just replaced it, Tommy, in their lineup. In their bullet lineup. Not that it's a direct.
Yeah,
same
that
exact
could be.
bullet.
Yeah.
It's just what replaced it.
All right.
I think I've got some of those, Kyle. I can look. I think I've got some of those 208s on the shelf. I bought them for the blackout.
I got some 212s, I think. ELD match. I'll have to look at those.
So are we on to trimmers again?
Yeah. TMS, we'll get to that in a minute. BC is ballistic coefficient. Okay, so Everybody said which Hillbilly hadn't said what bullets he likes, but he don't reload. So, have you shot any factory of those three: Sierra, Burger, and Hornady?
Yeah, I'm mainly shoot Hornady. It's been more or less what's been kind of available to me, and I ain't had any trouble with it. My rifles, deer hunting, and that type of stuff. So I've just kind of stuck to it. But yeah, I mean, I'm not against trying other stuff, but yeah, that's buy some factory ammo. That seems to be what they have, and I'm looking for a certain grain or whatever, and so certain tip. So yeah, I mean, mainly it's been Hornady.
Well, while you've got the floor, go ahead and tell us what your favorite way to trim your brass is.
Oh man, I got a whole book full of notes that I've been taking from y'all, and like I said, I'm not into reloading yet, but it's definitely something I will be getting into, and so, but yeah,
We'll get you there.
the only brass trimming I've been doing is like for if I need to scrap something out. So
There you go. Well, uh, Mark, did you get to tell us about your trimmer?
Nope.
Go for it.
I have just the regular old Lyman pencil sharpener. One at a time. Works just fine.
Hasbro's in Perry, Georgia. Call me when you come back through, buddy. Send me an email. I'll send you my phone number. Okay, CW. We want to know about trimming.
I got a whole bunch of them. I use a whole bunch of different ones. The first ones were Foresters, and I got a few of those on a board, and I still use them. They're a real nice basic hand trimmer. Been around for forever. I graduated to a Lyman power trimmer probably early 90s when I was making 765 Argentine, and I had to trim down 06 cases. I just made it a whole lot easier. I still have it. I still use it. It still works really good. I've got a couple of other Lyman hand trimmers, lathe type hand powered ones, converted over with a drill motor. They work pretty good. If I've got a lot of brass to prep, I'll probably grab that Lyman power trimmer first. But if I've just got like a box of shells to load, I use the Lee on the RCBS Boss. So if it's just a few cases, I'll use that. They work really good. But Andy's right. They do tend to trim a little on the short side, in my experience. It's generally not an issue, but that's how they work. But they work really nice because you can use the power tool, and you get everything right there. And on the Boss, there's a extra station, so you can do everything right there. Clean your primer pockets, clean your flash holes, deburr your flash holes, trim your length, deburr inside and outside, all at the same time, and clean your primer pockets. So that's what I do. Depends on the caliber, depends on how much I'm doing as to what I'll grab.
Do you have one of those Hornady cam locks?
No. I do have a Hornady trimmer, but it's not a cam lock.
The lathe one.
Yeah, and kind of buried under the bench.
Yeah.
I do have a neck turner from Hornady from Hornady that works pretty good. I like that one for neck turning. Works better than a Lyman.
That's the setup right there, Tommy boy. World's finest trimmer and a lathe. Yeah, buddy. That's going to town. But if you're going to set that up, you need to have a bunch of 223s ready to trim. And of course, we all know we're always trimming 223 brass. Who else didn't get to talk about trimmers? Go for it, Walter. I do
trim my handgun brass periodically, and here's the situation where I will trim handgun brass. I get most of my 38 special and 44 special brass out of the range, out of the buckets at the range. So most of those folks go out there are not reloaders, and they just throw their brass when they're done with it. But there's all kinds of different brands of stuff in there, and it's all a little bit different in length. So when I start a new batch of like 38 special brass, I will trim it all down to the same length. And the reason I like to do that is that sets or allows me to put the crimp at the same spot in the crimp groove of the bullet for all the brass. If I don't do that, I'll end up with a short piece here or there, and Hornady is notorious for that. But and you can't trim everything down to being as short as Hornady. I usually just throw the Hornady brass away, but I like to start it all with the same length, and I'll do the same thing when I start a new batch of 45 ACP or 40 Smith & Wesson that comes out of the range, is to get them all the same length to start with, so that the crimps are going to all be at least similar. But I don't ever do it after that. And to do it with, I have the Hornady Camlock. I also have an RCBS Trim Pro or Trim Mate. Trim Mate that I've used in the past, but I like the Hornady Camlock better. I have a little Ryobi power screwdriver that runs it, and it goes really fast.
Very cool. Andy trims all his too. All right, it's 9 o'clock, y'all, and I haven't been through the side chat yet. So everybody type in 357 and we'll call your name out on the TV. Walks Fletcher says 454 Casull needs to be trimmed every time, kind of like 223. So
you got to remember the Casull runs pushing 60,000. So it's the highest, one of the highest pressure handgun rounds you're going to find. So that's why it needs it more often than 35,000 37 mag.
So we got Walter out there. We got Andy 79Z28 said he'll be right back. We got Ricky _Baird 6-shooter Texan reloading from the hot pot. Reloading from the hot pot too. Bama Dad Duffer 426. Michael Dunn used his Ryobi on his Lyman trimmer. That's interesting. Mark Thomas 357 Reloader 762 Tactical FUD 3 Jeep Discovery Guns and Waters and Alaska 1 Andy, welcome in, buddy. Andre D'Angelo, Michael Dunn, Garage Guy 879, Hasbro, Ron Wayne, Mike Hester, Old One Guy, Papa's Place, M-C, M.C, Edward Petty, Alaska 1 Andy, Dwayne 7834, M. Gabriel, Hillbilly Up, Tim S. Hipparchus, Ron Wayne, CW Longshot, DSCZ 52 357, Guns and Water, Says 460 Smith and Wesson must be worse. Still acquiring ammo. We got Floridian and Lakeview Outdoors. Lakeview, we hoping everything goes well.
Hey, Tony.
With you guys. And y'all know the fundraiser continues. We got Hobbies Hobo out there as well. We got Scotsman is giving away chances at that Winchester 3030. So get your entries in for the 3030 over there. $50 an entry. Also, Bald and Curious is giving away a Kimber 1911 chambered in 10 millimeter. Also, chances on that are $50. So y'all get those entries in and help us raise money for Lakeview and his wife. Who else needs to talk about trimmers? Hot Pot ain't talked about trimmers yet.
I showed you my trimmers.
No, seriously, what do you trim your brass with?
I used the Lee setup with a cordless drill.
That's what Mock does.
It's simple. It's effective. I go through and I measure all of my brass first after I've resized it. If it does not need trimmed, I do not even bother putting it near the trimmer.
Right.
As long as it's at or just undersized, I'm good. Everything I do for my 223 and then 308, I just use for plinking. I'm not trying to stretch it out. I'm not looking for 500, 800 yard accuracy. I'm just looking. Furthest I stretch my AR out is 300 yards on a consistent base. So if I can do that, I'm good. And everything I've reloaded, I can do it. So now I'm getting into the 6.5 Creedmoor. So now it's getting deep.
Yeah, you're pushing 1,000 yards. You can get into that precision reloading.
Yeah, and the lead eyes I've got, they do okay, but I'm gonna have to venture into some other items, other brands, and other techniques of doing things now. So I'm still, I'm only 6-7 years now into reloading, so I'm still, I'm green. I'm still at the plinking stage. And most of what I do is plinking, shooting these matches and stuff. Man, you're just throwing it out there and leaving your brass on the ground. All you care is that you hit the target or knock the plate down. That's all I care. That's all I've cared about for so long. And now I really want to get into the precision part of it. So, dummy me, Anthill, Ant Farm. It's not a rabbit hole, it's an ant farm. There's so many chambers, and some of them dead end you, and other ones just keep going.
So I'm kind of anxious to see Ron Wayne's first gun video. Hobbies Hobo uses the Lyman lathe trimmer. Mike Hester's got to make fun of people who like 6.5 Creedmoor. So,
Well, he's a 380 nut, so there's that.
no, Mike shoots 6 millimeter or something, and 30. I think he's starting into that 30 PRC. He's forgot more about reloading than I'll ever know.
All
I'm curious what's going on, buddy. I was just talking about your giveaway, man.
You mean that 300 PRC?
Yeah.
Man, I almost pulled the trigger on one of those rifles. It was a Savage in the MDT chassis. Oh, it came with the plates to add weight to it. And that thing, it was so beautiful. But I'll get that next. soon as I get the 6.5 out of jail, then I'll put that one in. Now we're gonna get that plan. Val, my entry fee should be on its way to you.
Tough on those is brass, and you should have that covered.
Got that covered. It's in a big bucket of mixed stuff that I've put together. One reason or another.
Yeah, it's new. You know, it's just the PRCs are new, and most people that have them reload for them. So, not something you're really going to find at your average range pickup.
No.
You'll see them.
I get to see some weird stuff, man. See some Weatherby stuff fly through once in a while.
Yep.
Man, 357 SIG stuff. Oh, you've seen I got this 45 Gap.
Yep. That's another one we don't talk about much. Thankfully, it doesn't.
Oh,
You don't find them much, but they bugger up your 45 auto.
50 GI.
Yeah, that's a fat one.
Yeah, I got a
That's
nice little container of that set back.
Yep.
So if anybody knows that shoots 50 GI, that's a nugget. That's throwing a nugget out there.
Yep.
You could probably spit it out faster than that gun could throw it out.
Yeah, it's not very high velocity.
No. Nope. If anybody on here, if anybody shoots it, man, get a hold of me. I'll send you a little baggie of it.
You ever see any 9mm or 10mm Magnum?
10mm Magnum. Not 9mm Magnum.
Yeah, there's such a thing.
I see some weird 38 short stuff. And
There's 357. What is it? Auto.
yes,
Auto.
yeah, I got some of that in a little slot in my cart. I store brass on a cart, and it's got a little slot. It's got different slots in there for it's like a utility cart. So when I find that really weird stuff, I throw it over in there. So I'll dig it all out and bring it in for a chat and show you what I found. It's pretty interesting. Some stuff I've never heard of.
Yeah, there's a lot of 38s out there.
Yep, 9x21, 9x23.
.38 Smith & Wesson, 38 Colt.
Both short and long.
Yeah.
My favorite was running across 380 brass and loading it like 9mm. So they were 380 Magnums.
I see a 9mm brass that is a 380. I mean, for all intents and purposes.
What about any 9mm Federal? You ever see any of that, Gene? That was a
No.
rimmed case made for a revolver.
Not to my remembering.
That's a hen's tooth.
Oh, speaking of hen's teeth, or a hen's tooth, if anybody out there needs a set of RCBS dies for a Remington 222 Remington Magnum, I have a set that I'm willing to part with. So get in touch with me. I know. I got nothing. You hear the crickets?
Yeah, it's not a popular one. Yeah, 380's got a few names. Depending on the country it's from. You got Certo, Kurtz. They're all 380.
My buddy's got a 380. It's a Browning, and it's what it says on the slide is 9mm short.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are we ready to move on to our next topic?
Sure.
Walter wanted to talk about this one. Uh, you won't go ahead, Walter?
Oh, sure.
Tell us your concept here.
Sure. Here's what I was thinking about. When we go out to shoot, there's a number of different kinds of venues where we can go shooting. You can go out in the desert in a lot of places. Out here, we've got in California, we got some BLM land, and that will allow you to shoot. We used to be able to shoot in the national forest here, but they closed that down. Or you go to some kind of a developed range, whether it's a public range or a private club. And so I was thinking about maybe talking about some of the differences in the situation that you find yourself in when you get to your shooting venue, I'll say, instead of just range. To me, when I say range, that implies some kind of a developed facility of one form or the other. And what got me thinking about that was I got an email notice yesterday from my gun club. And we're a private gun club, and it's a trap, and it's an indoor pistol range, and we got archery there too. All are pretty big time. But the notice said that the indoor pistol range is closed until further notice for repairs. There was no warning or anything. It's all set to go shooting this weekend, and it ain't going to happen. So I kind of wondered about. I got to think. Well, I paid my money and for the dues and blah blah blah. So, if you guys belong to some kind of a range, what does it cost you to go shoot at your range? Not counting fuel or anything like that. For me, our annual dues for the club are $100, and that gets you a $5 range fee instead of a $10 range fee because we do allow the public to come. But it's a family membership, so that same $100 will apply across your whole household. Your wife and kids, everybody goes for that. We have a couple of big barbecues that fee pretty much, covers that, let alone the shooting. It's a pretty good deal. Plus, I get my lead and my brass out there too. So, if you guys go to a developed range, what's it cost you to go shoot, just for range fees?
Walter, I want to ask something real quick.
Sure.
Since the pistol range is shut down, can you use the archery range if nobody's in there?
No. No. The only outdoor stuff, we don't have an outdoor rifle range. There's too much farming and agriculture in the area, so the only thing that's outdoors, because of the proximity of the neighbors, is the shotgun stuff and the archery stuff. We went out there with handguns; they'd scalp us. Yeah. What do we got over there? Hobby's Hobo, $55 a year, weekends only. No shooting during the summer. Yeah. 6-shooter Texan says depends on the range, naturally. Tommy Boy's got a private range and a public range, and no charge for either. Boy, that's good. We'll get a deal like that. So GGW Outdoors, Joe, what kind of a range are you shooting at? Is that a private club or a public range, or he says he just in from the range?
I think me and Jamie are in the same boat. We can go to one range and it's $7 a day for as long as you want to be there, and the other range it's $5 a car, isn't it?
No, they changed that to $5 per person, and the indoor range is now $10.
Well, okay. Well,
except for Saturday, and it's $10 an hour.
Wow.
It's so covered up on Saturday they want you to, they want you to get moving on.
That's called Money Day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to actually look out for the people that run the places. I mean, they got to make money, and the government is crushing fees down on them like there's no, there's just no telling how hard it's going to be. and they still got to make a living. So I don't have a problem paying $5, $10.
Yeah, you know, we got to pay the light bills. We got to replace the rafters from people, and you know, in our indoor pistol range, you got to see those rafters. How much lead gets, because they get shot to pieces.
Me
So that's
and
got to be
Jamie
repaired and
have
replaced.
looked up and went, how did that happen?
Yeah,
How
yeah,
did that
it's
happen?
incredible how much damage happens. You know, particularly at an indoor range, I guess. But so, and you know, we got to ensure the range safety officers, and you know, like I said, it gets a little expensive to. You can't do it for free. Money's got to come from somewhere. So.
That's why I don't have a problem driving for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, depending on which way I go, and shooting on my friend's 800 acres of land down in South Georgia. We'll go down there for the weekend, camp out, cook, stay in the cabin, you know, all that. So I mean, there's that side of it, but then there's the other side where people that want to go to the range 2 or 3 times a week, it's costing them $40. You know, I mean, it's all over the place.
I belong to 2 different ranges. I belong to a commercial indoor range. It costs me about $30 a month, but I have unlimited range time. Family members are included, and I can take a different guest with me every time, someone that's not a family member. I can't.
Well, that's not bad at all.
They don't want you to bring the same person over and over and over, but if you're a good guy at the range, they don't say really too much to you about it. They may be like, you know, you might want to join. It's like, yeah, okay, he will, maybe. It's up to him. We're gonna go shoot. And the other one is a 24/7, 365 outdoor range, nice clubhouse. It's got a cooking facilities. We do several different cookouts a year, chili cook-offs. You can buy inside of it. You can buy drinks and stuff like that. Indoor bathrooms. And all the brass, all the brass you could want. No one picks it up.
That was the range that I belong to here, which is it's not far from me. Jamie knows where it is. I would go down there, and I would just bring empty 5-gallon buckets, and you know, everybody just sweeps everything up, throws it in the 5-gallon bucket. Well, I'd bring them an empty bucket, and I'd take that bucket and put it in the back of the car, or the truck, or the van, or whatever I was driving. And it was, let's see, what was it? I think it was $180 a year, and it was sunlight to sunset, private range. Of course, you had your range officers and all that stuff, but they had a 500-yard. They had a 25-yard pistol, 50-yard rifle, 100-yard rifle, and a 500-yard rifle, and then shotgun on the backside and archery. And yeah, I think it was $180 a year, and you could always bring a guest with you.
Yeah, my outdoor range is $100 a year. Oh, we also have we got clays too. So if you want to bring your own clays and load the machine up and go out there and shoot clays, you're more than welcome.
Oh no, they provided the clays.
Well, we have clays there, but it's it's kind of like if you're going to shoot them, bring some too.
What I'm saying is, you didn't have to pay extra out of your pocket if you wanted to shoot 100 rounds of clays. You just brought your brick of shot shells. They provided everything. Targets, everything. And,
that's a good deal right there.
Yeah, you just go out there, and you and a friend, or you and your son or daughter or whatever, could have all the fun that you can stand. Jamie,
we got a sighting.
I know.
On 3, 3, 2, 1.
Hey.
The Battle Beam, his own self, has arrived.
What is up, West Coast moron? I don't know. He's always got to show up, so we always give him a great and very lovesome welcome.
He's worth it once in a while.
It's good to see you. Glad you could be here, Mario. Good to see you, brother.
I'm trying to think of what Ricky Baird is talking about. Let me see if I got these. He wanted me to show these.
He's probably talking about how the hell to get the damn mold that he sent to me back to him.
He's going to be your neighbor starting next week.
Oh, well, that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's what I was waiting on. Ain't no sense in paying the postal service $7 when I can just pay $7 in gas, drive over.
There you go.
Get you some of that, sports fans.
That'll buff right out.
Wow.
Whoa, what happened there? Goodness gracious. Andy, what did you do?
Somebody loaded too far to the casting too far to the left side.
Yeah.
Turn left where it got to come out the barrel.
Good Lord.
My goodness.
I hope nobody was hurt.
Well, it's a 500 Smith & Wesson.
My
Oh, that's
goodness.
just a baby.
We got one more.
Good God.
Oof.
Well,
Can you imagine hanging on to that thing when that happened?
I'm glad to
moly.
Did
see
you get
there's all
that?
fingers on the hand in that picture. Jesus.
Did you buy that off Gunbroker?
That was a wish item.
One of those 1 penny sales.
Oh my God! I'm glad. I hope that whoever shot that still has phalanges.
That's what forgetting to put gunpowder in your reloads can do to you, fellas.
Good God! Was it a squib and then they fired up with another shot?
Yeah.
Ooh! Woo! Jesus! And in a 500? Wow!
Boy, oh boy.
I hope whoever was shooting that is still intact. That's the only thing I can say. And as to everybody in the side chat, if you're new to reloading, it matters. Check everything. Double check everything. Triple check everything.
If you pull a trigger and all you hear is, don't pull a trigger again.
Yes, stop. Collaborate and listen.
If not, you may be back with without an addition.
Oh, yeah, that was good,
That
Jane.
worked.
I appreciate that.
So, M. Gabriel, is that sleeved? Not anymore.
God.
Extra ventilation.
I've seen some stupid stuff happen. I've had some squib load, but I knew not to pull the trigger again. I totally disassembled a firearm and, got the slug out of it and all that.
Yeah. Damn it, Dad. Especially with that 500. How could you not know it was a squib?
Yeah, no shit. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to use that. My bad.
Well, I understand, but if you're shooting fast, you can lose track of what's going on. You don't need to dump. These mag dump guys, they scare me to death doing that mess. And that is
I
why.
was in a competition shoot, and it was ARs, and I heard that weird noise. We're supposed to put 2 rounds on each target, and move in and all that stuff. And the targets were ranged anywhere from 10 to 50 yards in the middle of the woods. And I heard that funny noise, and I looked at the range officer, and I was like, "Can I finish with my pistol?" He said, "Your score's not going to count." I said, "Well, I want to finish the course." And so I finished the course with my M&P 9mm. And he said, "Just for the giggles and grins, I'll go out here and score." Okay. 97 out of 100. And I finished it with a pistol. And under time.
Yeah, you got to focus on what we're doing too, especially when we're reloading. Okay, back to the range talk. I know American Hillbilly generally shoots at your house, don't you, man?
Yeah, I put out in the side chat there earlier. I mean, other than skeet competition, the only time I've ever been at a range was just once. We were shooting some rifles, but I've never been to an indoor range. But yeah, I mean, all of our shooting, like that, is range like mine. It's here on my property, and stuff. And we're actually, hopefully, very soon going to build a longer range. But it's just too hot and too many snakes right now to do that. But yeah, I hear you guys talk about that, and I mean, I know I see some prices vary by a lot, and I don't understand it because I don't use it. But in a sense, like I'm very happy that there are these places, so everybody can go shoot, um, different states, cities, or whatever. It'd be really bad if we didn't have those ranges. So,
Well, and another thing is, me and Jamie and actually Gene have made a trip. Actually, me and Jamie have made a couple of trips, but it's up into Tennessee. We live in Georgia, but they have 1,000-yard range, and it doesn't cost hardly anything. What is it, Jamie? $35?
It's the rifle range is $24 an hour or $56 all day.
But that also comes with the pistol range too, right? If I remember.
No, that's a separate charge. I think it's like $20 for all day.
But anyway, you can sit up there and shoot all day long, whatever you want to do. And it's not that far of a drive for me and Jamie. It's a little bit of a ride for Gene.
It's worth it.
Yeah, it is.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
And you go down there and you have all kinds of fun all day or all weekend or whatever. And I'm extremely thankful that places like that exist, like what you were saying.
Can I say one more thing? I did forget about that. The gun range we did go to, it's just down in Arkansas, and the county actually owns it or sponsors it or whatever, and so they don't charge anything. They maintain it. So, it is nice for different communities or counties and stuff to provide stuff like that for, people.
Yeah, there's a couple of places around here where all you have to have is either a hunting or a fishing license, and there's no charge. I've been to a couple of those. Matter of fact, me and Jamie went over to meet Georgia Boy, and all we had to do was get a fishing license.
Oh, here in Ohio, Thunder Valley's website is back up and running, and that's where you can shoot anything from 10 yards to a mile.
Nice.
Nice. Very nice.
I looked
Yes,
it up.
sir.
I looked it up the other day, and their website is back up and running. They've got new pictures on. They got new schedules of events. So they were down for some time. Everybody wondered if they were going to come together or not. So after I seen that, here comes that 300 PRC.
Thunder Valley, where is that in Ohio? Might be time to take a road trip.
It might be. It is in the west or the eastern part of Ohio, south of the Cleveland area.
So
No. Southeast Ohio. I'm sorry, southeast.
So it's about 6.5 hours away from us.
About the same distances from me to you.
Which, I mean, I used to drive a truck, but I'm sure I can get there quicker in a car.
It's in Kimballton, Ohio.
I ain't got my phone on me. Of course, it's about dead. I still don't have any power, but I'm still at about.
They have a setup like Dead Zero, Gene?
I have never been there.
We might have.
No,
to just
I was
figure
I was
out-
wrong. I was right the first time. It's closer to Cleveland. Somebody else was telling me one about in southeast Ohio. I just got confused about it. But it's south of Cleveland. It's actually only about 3 hours away from where I'm at.
Let's see. We got a. I'm just trying to think. It's between 6 and 8 hours from here, Jamie.
Well, that's a huge difference, Kyle. Come on.
You got to bring up Mike's comment there, Jamie.
Just depends on how fast we.
It looks like it's kind of set up like Dead Zero.
Do me a favor, Gene. Shoot me an email with a link.
Just look up Thunder Valley Precision.
Well, I have no power. I have no ink pen. I have no paper.
KFW, I heard of Knob Creek, but it wasn't. I don't think it was a gun range.
It was a little runnier than that.
Yeah, it was a little more liquid than that. It
Had a
flowed
couple
better.
fountains in it.
I'm gonna show y'all one I would love to join. I'm just not sure I'm gonna part with the jack. This is a local range here to us, Floyd County Wildlife Association. They got outdoor sports. There's a fishing lake there. Sporting clays, rifle, shotgun, fishing, hunting, and archery. And there's the application, and there's the all stuff. You check your interests, but the initiation fee is. Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit. It ain't going up, is it?
Oh, it's there. Just
$200 initiation fee plus prorated membership dues. It's $325 a year, paid by April 31st. And then let's look at Sporting Clays.
is that out there by the paper mill?
Yeah,
Yep, my dad was a member there, and me and him used to go there when I was younger. That's a nice place. There's a great lake right there, and campsites, and all kinds of stuff.
look at that
Yeah.
scenery.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
But even after you're a member, you still have to pay to. Uh,
You can use the rifle and shooting ranges, but if you want to do the 5 stand, the sporting clays or something like that, you have to pay something.
the rifle and pistol range is a $35 annual pass on top of your initiation fee and dues.
But it's a 1 year pass, right?
Right.
I pay 100 a year at my outdoor range, and we've got a nice clubhouse, overhangs, uh, targets. I mean, every $100 a year.
Yeah, you can't beat that. But like what Jamie's talking about, you can't beat that either because there's a lake where you can go fishing, camping, whatever you want to do.
It's going
And
to be
then the next
it's going to
day,
be
you do a
it's going to
100
be
round sporting clays course, So
it's going to be a catch and release pond. More than likely, being this kind of organization, it's going to be catch and release.
yeah,
So you
I'm not
can't
sure about
eat
that.
out of it. You're just gonna wound them up. Then you still got to pay for sporting clays. You got to pay for this, pay for that. Pretty soon your $350 a year is costing you $600-700 a year.
Well, but also
Maybe 1,000 if you're going to go a lot.
or this is
Most
the way it used to be. The way it used to be over there is once you were a member, they've got several hundred acres that you can deer hunt on, bird hunt on, squirrel hunt on, depending on what's in season. You can be a hunter and use their property. So
How much that cost?
$520 a year for the season. It's a 2,000 acre lease, and it's limited to the first 50 people that sign up.
Oh, they've changed it then. Well, then again, it's been 25 years since I've been over there, but I know exactly where you're talking about. It's by the paper plant.
Highway 100.
most of the ranges around here that I know of that have shotgun stuff like that, there's always an extra fee because it's not like handgun or rifle where you just bring your own targets. You can't really bring your own birds, clay pigeons, and go shoot a sporting clays. You can't bring your own birds and go shoot a skeet round. It just doesn't work. You gotta pay for what you use, what's there, what the club buys. So it just doesn't. You're not going to go and set up all your stations and give each one a handful of birds, clay pigeons, and walk the whole course. It's just not feasible. It just doesn't work. You know what I mean? You could do hand thrown at most of the clubs around here, and you're just using the field, and there's no extra fee. No extra fee for a rifle and pistol because there's no real consumables there. But at least that's the way it's been around here. But sporting clays is X number of dollars. A trap, around a trap is X number of dollars. It's not expensive, but it's an additional fee on top of your dues. But you can enjoy the properties. You can enjoy fishing in the pond. You can enjoy using one of the hibachis or something, a picnic table or whatever, for your dues. That's the way it is around here. Ours, I'm a member of a couple clubs, but my club is main club is just a rifle and a pistol range and a clubhouse with an indoor range, and that's about $400 a year, $350 a year.
Yeah.
I can bring guests, but if I bring the same guest more than a half a dozen times or so a year, they expect to see their name on the application.
My name's Jimmy Hoffa.
I'd want to be Edgar Allan Poe.
And ours is not a family. You can bring, as long as your kids are young, you can bring them, but you can't bring your wife. She'd be a guest or another fee. But if your kids are under 18, they can come.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Whatever.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. If I could spend $2 grand a year down there easy. But the problem for me is still a 35, 40 minute ride from my house because I live on the other end of the county.
Yep, that's about where it is for me too.
And the other range that we go to that's owned by the U.S. Forestry Service and is operated by the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, that cost us $5 a piece every time we go up there. But it's crowded. We always have to wait on a bench to shoot, and it's about an hour ride for me.
Yeah,
So when you're
there
talking
all
about,
dang day.
yeah, it's an all day thing to go up there and just sight in a hunting rifle. So when you talk about what does it cost to go to the range, I think you got to include your time. Your time is the most valuable asset you have, as I've told y'all lots of times, in my opinion. But that's gas money too, and it's plus I mean the $5 to shoot there is minimal, and the bad part about that is most people don't do it. There's a It's kind of an honor system. They've got this big metal stand, and you fill out your name and put the tag number on there and put your $5 in there. And I've taken people up there, and I paid the $5 and they didn't, and they were guests. I guess I mean they were just ride-alongs. So Mark, we see a lot of your videos at that range you go to. Tell us about that.
Well, I am very fortunate. It's 10 minutes away from my house. I think annual dues list last year was $60 or $65, and can go as much as I want. And really being fortunate, being off in the summertime, when Seth and I want to go down there, we can go there midday, midweek, and there's no one else there. We had the whole place to ourselves the other day. We've gone down early in the morning. We haven't done it this year, but we did it last summer. Literally take my own clay thrower, a whole box of clays, and a couple boxes of shells, and we can stand there on the field and shoot just as long as we want till we get too hot and it feel like going home.
That's nice. Yeah.
It's a nice range. There's a 200-yard range. There's a 100-yard range at that site as well. There's a 100-yard range with I think 4 tables, but that's closed whenever they want to shoot clays because that's right over the clay field. And then there's the 50-yard range and the 25-yard pistol range. Plus they have an indoor 22 in the basement of the clubhouse, and the clubhouse is a full bar, restaurant. They have a nice big meeting hall out in the one end that they do big events in. It's a really nice place. We're fortunate to have it.
That does sound.
It's a bargain for $60.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Yeah, the big club that I was belonged to forever they were $350 a year, but they were about 45 minutes away. But they had everything. They had they had 2. They had just put in a second sporting clays. They had a couple of, I think they had 4 trap fields. They had a skeet field. They had a walk around yourself 3D archery, and then they had a couple of competition 3D archeries that they do on the weekends. We had a 150-yard rifle and a 50-yard pistol, separate ranges, and much property. There was I think they had 700 or 800 acres, and then they had probably a couple thousand that they leased, and it was only bird hunting. But all that was included. There's a clubhouse, a bar, a restaurant, and a lake that you could fish in that they stocked. You keep the fish. It was really nice.
Nice.
But it was big. It was one of the biggest clubs here in Connecticut, and it just got too far to drive. It was some of the things were busy. The rifle range was almost always you had to wait for. But the archery was nice. That's what we used the most, archery and trap and sporting clays. what we used the most. But it was nice to be able to go and get a burger, sit down. We always used to chuckle. They had a bar too, and the bar was where you used to go to pay for all your shotgun stuff. You had to go into the bar, and you'd see most of the guys would be in there, with a beer or whatever, and then they go out and shoot their round and come back in, and it was just, I just, the connotation of it was always kind of strange to me. Mixing
Yeah, I don't agree with belling up to the bar and then going and shooting. So, I mean, it's great that they have that, It all depends on what you're looking for, how much you want to spend.
Yeah, but the restaurant was the best. It was
they're
not that it was great food or anything. It was just burgers and dogs and stuff. But it was such a long ride from home. You could always go and get a soda, or if you're done, you can go get a beer, whatever. But you could always get a drink. You could always get some food, and it was way away from town. It was out in the away from stuff. So it was just real nice. You can go and shoot a round of sporting clays, or go shoot a round of archery, and go sit down and relax. You could also they had pavilions that you could rent. They did weddings there. It was a nice venue. It really was nice.
Yeah, it's nice to have a place like that that's available. This place right down the street from me, well, not right down the street, it's probably 15 miles away. It's great. There's a little clubhouse. You can get some soft drinks, stuff like that. They don't have food. But on Wednesdays, they shut everything down, and it opens up the long range shooting, which is 500 yards. And if you prove your worth, you can go out to 1,000, which I've done several times. But I mean, everybody there is just, it's hometown people, Everybody sits around, talks with each other while other people are shooting and all that. It's all in what you want to pay for. I mean, what you just described sounds amazing, and I would pay what you said they wanted to be paid. If I had that around me, but I don't. But I've got a couple of different options. I just gotta pick and choose. I'd rather just throw everything in the back of the damn truck, put the dog in the back seat, and head down to LaGrange and have fun. I can do whatever I want to down there.
It was real nice. You go on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, whatever, go fishing. And most of the shotgun stuff would all shut down in the hunting season, except for on Sunday, because we don't have Sunday hunting here. So the trap would open up on Sunday, and the skeet and the sporting clays, and then it would be shut down all during the weekend on Saturdays because you're walking across all that property bird hunting. But it was really nice, and it was a bargain for what it was. It just got to be too far for me to run down there on a weekday, or it got busy. They got a lot of people. There was thousands and thousands of people that were members, and have to wait, to spend a day to sight in a rifle is just, it's not when I can go to one of my other clubs.
Yeah, it's only about 7 miles to my indoor range at the club here from my house, so it almost doesn't count. It's a real short drive out there. To go to a range where public is allowed to shoot long guns is up in Morro Bay, which is about a little over 100 miles round trip, 120 round trip. I almost never go up there.
Yeah, that's a day. So we need to start clearing the deck for Mr. Gizzard. Gary's coming in at 10 o'clock. I want to say something about Ron Wayne's comment about picking up the brass from the other stalls when you first get there. Everybody's empty, and the guy tells me, the video I watched from Mark, and he's putting his hand over his gun like this, catching the brass, and then he lets his kid shoot his guns with his reloads, and the kid is throwing the crap everywhere. And I'm like, I'm sitting there thinking, Mark, I'm joking. You're a good man. But number two, if he had to reload those after he bounced them off the concrete, he wouldn't be doing that like that.
He's gonna learn.
Yeah.
He'll learn. So, Mark, what you got working on this week?
Well, I'm gonna try to tinker a little bit more with some of those loads that I just sent down range. Might need to refine that 308 a little bit more because I really was pleased with that. I didn't put on the video. I did fire some 223 through my AR with a cast bullet, and it didn't cycle the action. So I gotta up that a little bit and see if I can get that one working. And I really didn't get to shoot any pistol. I spent all the time on the rifle range, so I want to get down there and do some of that. I've also got some leather projects finishing up, a couple of slings, and well, got a few more things I'll be working on. I've only got about 2 more weeks of summer left, so I gotta get in what I can.
Mark, what cast bullets are you using for your 223?
It is a Lee mold. I can't remember what it was. It's probably not the greatest thing, and I'm gonna have to maybe look for something else or just buy cheap bullets and reload. Just
I was just asking.
Yeah.
It's probably the what is it? 223 155, I think it is.
Something like that. It's got a little flat nose on it.
Yeah, little 55 grainers. If you just want to buy some projectiles, we've got them at the shop, Mark. If you don't see them on the site, just give a call. We got 55 grain little copper-plated projectiles.
This was just
I'm
something I
telling
was
you what,
tinkering
Mark,
with.
I've melted about 90% of all of those bullets or projectiles that I've casted because I couldn't get them to shoot. I've tried multiple powders, all that. I hate that damn mold. I hate it. Just a little food for thought.
Yeah, I wasn't too worried about it. It was just something I was tinkering with.
Cast bullets and fast twist barrels they can be finicky. They can be frustrating.
They really are. Better off buying store-bought bullets for that. 6 shooter, that's my favorite thing to finish a stock with. So, Walter, what you got coming up this week? Another Moldy Monday? I'm about 2 Mondays behind, brother.
Yeah, we got Moldy Monday. I've fortunately got 2 or 3 weeks worth in the can because I can't go out and do shoot until I get that range fixed up because they shut it down for, I won't say indefinitely, but they just said until further notice. So we got a good one coming up on Monday. Thanks to suggestions from a couple of friends. One was this guy here on a 40 Smith & Wesson bullet from Lee. I found a really good load. I mean, a good one that even Viejo was shooting a 10-round group like that out of a Glock with. So that's going to be coming up on Monday. And since the range is shut down, I've got a bunch of other projects to get in and get done. I got enough bullets cast up to last a lifetime. Probably don't need to do any for a while, but I've got a new red dot to put on another 22 semi-auto that I've got. I'm going to get that done this weekend. And what else? I don't know. I got plenty of reloading I can do. I got all these cast bullets sitting on a shelf. I might as well get them loaded up and get them ready for when the range does open up. So that's what I got going on. Happy to be here. Happy to interact with the side chat as always. It's a good place for us all to be on a Friday night. So thanks for the invitation as always to participate, guys. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure to have you, Walter, and the rest of you guys as well.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here, Walter, and thanks to all you guys in the side chat. I like those cowboy action shooting videos. Text
Me too.
6. Hot pot. You got anything coming up?
I got a shoot tomorrow. Then I'm going to go back to the range Sunday and do some more break-in on my Rock Island 10 millimeter.
I was going to say, you did a match with a 10 millimeter last weekend, didn't you? How'd that go?
No, I didn't. I didn't use it. I went ahead and just took the normal. I want to get it broken in and get some things done to it first, get it running good. But every magazine I put through, it's getting better and better and better. So I got a video coming out on what I've done to it so far, and then I'll do some progression videos as I get it ready for the actual Iron Sight Nationals, USPSA.
Awesome.
But hey, thanks for having me on, man. It's a great chat tonight. Always learn a lot. I love coming to school on Friday nights. It's the best time.
Always a pleasure, Gene.
Thanks
Thank
for being here, Gene, and thanks for sharing those plastic 308s with us. I found that interesting.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
The beard trimmer, not so much, as you can see. I generally.
I'll
That
tell
was
you
a-
what. Let me say this though. As short as mine is, I shaved it off when I come down to dead zero, just so when you looked at me, it was gone. I just did it for that, and then it was actually different, man. It felt different. It was almost kind of cold.
It
So
was a cool weekend for April in Tennessee, wasn't it?
no, I mean just not having that little bit of hair on my face was just felt cold.
I understand, but that was a cool weekend. It was very windy.
Yeah, it was
I'm
still
feeling,
good though.
I'm feeling the same thing since my beard's not down to my belt anymore.
Thanks, Ron.
It doesn't feel right, you know.
Thanks, Ron Wayne. We appreciate you, man. I'll be looking for that first gun video Friday.
Yeah.
I meant Monday. GDW, naked chin, yeah. Happens. Mr. Hillbilly, are you back yet? You want to say goodnight?
Oh, shoot. I didn't know the camera was on. Let me put this
I
up.
knew it. I knew it. I knew
Good
it.
one.
I'm saving this for the weasel. 'Cause I got an agreement from him.
I could see a meme. I could see a meme coming from this.
So his goal was $10,000, which I hopefully blow way past that for Tony's wife, Lakeview Outdoors. And since him and Jamie kind of put me on the spot on here last week about drinking one hard seltzer for every $200 that we raised on my
Lord.
channel, I ended up having to drink 2 of those. I threw up, and I was supposed to drink a third, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, man. So anyway, after I put out a video asking the Scotsman, telling him I wanted him to feel my pain, I asked him if he made it to the $10,000 mark that was his goal, if he would come on my show and drink a hard seltzer. So he kind of said, well, he kind of put me in the spot, so I guess I have to. So anyway, so I'm going to send him some, I guess. I don't know. But first of all, I want to say thank you so much, guys, for having me on. I love it, man. I sit here and write in my notebook, all your guys' wisdom about reloading and everything. And, so because I'm going to start one of these days. I mean, I definitely am. But I just appreciate it. I look forward to it every Friday night. It's so much fun being with y'all. Great panels, always great side chat. So tomorrow we got Guns, Beer, and Therapy. Saturday night, 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern time. And we'll just try to have a lot of fun there. I got some videos coming out. I think a few shorts and a couple other videos. And since it is hot, I try to make a few videos ahead of time so I can post those. But I'll be probably doing some a few tabletop deals, during this, really hot weather. So those will be coming out too. So anyway, guys, thanks a lot. I love y'all, and thank you for having me on here.
Good
Thanks
time.
for being here, Hillbilly. We appreciate all you do, man. Lakeview, God bless you, brothers, you and your family. Kyle, you want to say goodnight, man? You don't want to do anything this week?
Yeah. I'm actually still waiting on the power to come back on. I got to cast my buddy Rob up some 357 bullets and some number 4 buckshot. I don't know if y'all seen my mail call video from my buddy Rob, but he's a good friend. I worked with him for a long time out in Nevada, and so I've just got to pay it forward because he sent me a jackpot. I don't know where he ran into him, and I'm not asking.
That was very nice of him. Yep.
If that makes any sense. I'm glad to see everybody in the side chat. Glad to see everybody on the panel. And I tell you, I look forward to this every week. And it really means a lot. It really does.
Well, we're glad you're here, man, and we're glad all the folks come to watch us. Mr. C.W. Longshot, you working on anything this coming week?
No, just taking care of Mama. I want to walk on Gizzard Gary too much, so we'll just thank everybody on the panel and thank everybody for the side chat. Everything was awesome. Thanks for the topics, and we had a good time, guys.
Very good. Very good. Thanks, C.W. Y'all know all the guys that come on. I would run them down, but I'm afraid I'll leave somebody out. I'm going to write them down all on a card. Personally, I hope to have 2 videos out this week. I hope to have the second episode of the 308 and my first review
Hey, I got one of those today.
that somebody asked me to review a gun cleaning product. So hopefully I'll get that done this coming week. So that'd be that's the first time that's ever happened to me. Good
Me
night, 6-shooter. So you got the same thing?
I think so. Yeah, we'll talk after.
We'll talk in a minute. Guys, we hope the Lord blesses y'all all real good. And if He's willing, we'll see y'all next Friday night at 8 o'clock. Say good night, y'all.
Good night,
God
y'all.
bless.
Good night, y'all.